Welcome to Ink TV. I'm Rod Kurtz, and I'm joined by a very special guest today, Ben Kaufman, the founder of Mophie and #1 on this year's 30 Under 30 list. Ben, congratulations. Is it
Thank
lonely
you.
at the top?
No. No, it's not.
It's an honor to have you here. It was a great list, and the competition was mighty. But what really struck us about your company, which you recently sold, and I want to get to that in a minute, but your company made iPod accessories, which there are a million companies out there that focus on that.
2 million.
Yeah, 2 million, exactly. But what really stood out about that was not the accessories themselves, but how you went about founding the company and the way you designed these products. You let your users, your customers, essentially design the product. So tell us a little bit about the concept behind Mophie.
So originally we started out, we were just a regular company. One guy, product development, marketing, everything, regular startup.
And it wasn't working.
And then we got funded. And then about 3 months into it, that's when the 2 million people arrived trying to make iPod cases. And we had won Best of Show at Macworld in 2006 with just a team of 3 people, and we were going to Macworld 07, which was this past January, and we were like, oh my God, are we going to go to the show? And how could you beat Best of Show? Number one. Second,
how could you stand out from
and
that
second
crowd?
of all, every trade show booth looks the same. We had actually bought an $80,000 trade show booth that we wound up throwing away and not using. We said at like
your investors must have loved that.
On like December 3rd, we were like, all right, we're throwing it in the garbage. We're gonna have a booth where we're gonna ask users what's next rather than show them and tell them what's new.
And so how did you hatch the idea for this idea process?
So, you know, being very young when I started out, you know, 16 years old with all these ideas, no one wants to fund you. So I was like, very early on, I was like, well, if only the world saw what I had, then they would validate it and they would tell me to go and make it, you know? So that was always kind of in the back of my head, to kind of get it validated before going out, and we'll know it's going to be successful. So going into Macworld, saying to consumers what's next, we kind of had the same platform in mind. So the first day we handed out sketch pads and people doodled ideas.
And you told them to doodle
exactly
what they thought the next line of product
the next Mophie product should be. That night we put them all online. 30,000 people voted without any pre-announcement of what we were doing.
Were you surprised at the ideas that people came up with?
Yeah, and they only had 4 hours to give us ideas. I mean, since it was a 4-day show and we wanted to go from concept to completion in 4 days, we had to have it very structured. So we only had 4 hours of ideas, and over 125 legitimate ideas were submitted.
So from that point on, you had this concept that you wanted to use for future products, and tell us how you kind of formalized that beyond just people doodling at the conference.
Yeah, so I mean, the Macworld performance went off really well. We had a couple great products come out of it, and that's when it kind of hit us that, like, oh well, this industry is
onto something.
This industry is overwhelming, but we're getting an enormous amount of awards, enormous amount of attention in the press, an enormous amount of retail presence, not because of our products, but because of our process. So let's take our products out of it and focus on the process. So that's when we found a great partner, M-Station, sold them the Mophie brand name, took my team, and
this was a couple months ago.
Yeah, this was back in September.
Okay, so now that you've got this concept, the Illuminator is sort of the tool, what you're focusing your attention on now. Tell us about that.
So the Illuminator is a network that allows organizations worldwide to ask their consumers what's next rather than tell them what's new. I use the term a lot, but it's actually what we're doing.
You hate the term innovation, I know that.
I hate the term innovation, and the headline on the Innovator.
Even though we build you as the Innovator.
The Innovator.
It was a term of endearment, I promise.
It's okay. It's very overused. Tell everyone who's watching not to call themselves an innovative company. But anyway, so we are now a social network in some sense. But the thing with social networks is they don't really do anything right now. I mean, sure you can look at drunken photos from 4 nights before, and it's great.
Yeah,
but Illuminator gets things done. It puts social networks to work.
So you log onto the website. Walk me through what the experience is.
Organizations come in and say, we are looking to solve. You know, we're looking for ideas on how to reach this goal. Anyone can submit an idea. On how to reach that goal. There's voting and investing of a virtual currency in that idea, and then using a diverse set of algorithms, we put user data against those votes and figure out what the best path of action is.
Now, is the site free for users?
Totally free for users.
Okay, how are you making your money?
And actually free for companies too.
How are you making your money then?
In a variety of different ways. When a company wants to come in and say we want to run a private project just among our top 1,000 users, we charge them for that. If they want to run a public project, which is what we encourage everyone to do. That's free.
Okay.
We also make money. There's a community within the Illuminator that runs bootstrap projects. So there's back projects, which companies sponsor, and there's bootstrap projects in which, regular idea people like me when I was 16 years old could have posted an idea and said, hey, I have this cool thing going. Does anyone get behind it? And in a bootstrap community, a company could come in at any point in time and bid to take that bootstrap project and back it. And if the community agrees that they're a good backer, it moves on, and we actually take a brokerage fee off that too.
Okay.
And obviously advertising and.
Absolutely. Now you're set to launch in 08, is that correct?
Early 08. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
And any more details you'd like to
there's some really huge and amazing launch partners that are going to be associated with it. Companies that we all know and respect, and they are going to open up from us day one, asking their community, what's next, rather than telling them what's new.
Well, more broadly, I guess you sort of alluded to this a little bit with social networks. There's a lot of them out there at this point. We just launched IncBizNet, a social network for entrepreneurs, and I'm wondering, how do you convince people to come on board with you? What's different about your product?
You get rewarded for your time at Illuminator. That's number one. You get recognized. You build a reputation within the community that could be useful in finding jobs, finding potential gigs, finding people to connect with, and you can actually get stuff done. That's one. And also, with Illuminator, everyone has an idea, and this is a place where you could put it out there, test it out, and see what happens. Mm-hmm. And that argument pretty much is all we need to tell people, because everyone has an idea.
Absolutely. Well, just to wrap here, as a lot of our viewers know, we've been asking each of our 30 under 30 honorees some advice that they might share with other young entrepreneurs out there, something that they picked up along the way that they wish they had known early on. So Ben, I'm going to toss it to you, and for all the other would-be 30 under 30 number ones out there, what would you share with them?
Well, number one is you're probably right, and just stick to your guns.
Okay.
Because there's going to be a lot of people that tell you that they're older and they know what's up because they've gone through it a million times, but they might know what's up 10 years ago, but they don't exactly know what's up right now.
And we should mention you just had your 21st birthday.
Thank you.
And,
appreciate it.
I was talking a little bit off camera about how you've sort of had the arc of an entrepreneur's career all before essentially your 21st birthday. Who do you look to for advice when you're trying to figure out what to do?
My parents are always a big influence, and the community.
Yeah.
Yep.
Safety in numbers.
You gotta practice what you preach if you're in this business, right?
Absolutely. Well, we appreciate you preaching a little bit with us today.
Thanks.
We've been talking with Ben Kaufman. He is the founder of Mophie and now the Illuminator, and of course, number one on this year's 30 under 30 list. Thanks a lot, Ben.
Thank you very much.